The third speaker from the proposition.
My name is Arjun Shukla and I'll be proudly proposing the motion. A very good morning to the 14th of May 2016. What a lovely day, right? And this is directed at my opposition who do not realize that 2016 is the 21st century and it's time to stop dwelling in the past and living in the 1800s. It's time, you know. So let me start with my rebuttals and then I'll move on to my constructives. The opposition has based their entire argument, their entire debate on one assumption, that the absence of affirmative action means no welfare by the state at all. They believe that if affirmative action is, scrap, the government would simply stop caring about said disadvantaged groups. Sir, in all the two speeches, we have reiterated the fact that affirmative action is not the only solution and the best solution forward. Economic aid needs to be provided in a different manner because economic disparities cut across all cultural and communal barriers. Secondly, the deputy leader of opposition came up and said, let's not scrap it, it's a very lengthy and complex procedure. Sir, we gathered here today because it might be ideally wrong, it might be wrong in principle. We don't come here and say, let's not scrap it, it's actually quite lengthy. So a lot of things are lengthy and complex, so the speaker believes that just because certain concepts or principles are very complex, let's just leave it. Let's just leave class 12 maths is very complex.
Point of information?
No, sir, thank you so much. The opposition believes that affirmative action is a blanket solution to each and every problem in the world. A person can't walk, affirmative action is the way. I'm limping on stage, affirmative action is the solution.
Point of information?
Just one second, thank you so much. Let me reiterate the fact that the affirmative action is not a blanket solution to every problem you see in the world, right? Coming to my constructors now. I'm so sorry. The first, let me read out the motion for this house today. The motion says, this house believes that it is time to scrap affirmative action across the world. Let me try to highlight the important words that the opposition should have realized when they read the motion first. It is time. It is now the time. We're not saying that it wasn't required 100 years ago. We're not saying that it was never required, and we're not turning a blind eye to all the struggles of all the great people, say, all the great personalities he came up on stage and said. We're saying that it is time now to change it. It is time to open our eyes to a larger perspective and recognize that all people, regardless of social and religious lines, need help. So I think, if I'm not wrong, the leader of opposition came up and said that the manual scavengers are still existing. There is still some Dalit boy in some nook and corner of the world which is still suffering from so much of discrimination, which is exactly our point. Affirmative action is not helping these people, which is why we need a change. Just one second. This is why we need a change and we need it now. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you mentioned that affirmative action isn't proven to be productive. So what I meant was that we need to give it some time. No, we need to give it time.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Coming on to my second constructive is that how political parties have started using it as a political tool. The concept of vote bank politics is based on this very fact. Let me let's turn our eyes back to 1980s when the VP Singh government, banking on the Mandal Commission report, came into power. Right? Their main agenda throughout their rallying was that they would pass this Mandal Commission, which would increase the reservation for people, and this is how they got into power. So they're dwelling on the disparities of the people. They use it as a political tool to come into power. Right? 1947, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in the Constitution provided protective discrimination to these people for 10 years. Opposition, please listen. It was 10 years, and yet we're in 2016 as it still exists, and it's only been increasing. The Patels, the Jats, all of them want to share into this. So what the point the proposition wants to make is there is no weaning mechanism for this, because as long as political parties can use this as an incentive to come into power, they will continue exploiting this certain fact. Coming on to my third constructive, which says affirmative action looks at your cultural identity, it looks at your historical background. completely ignoring your current situation, your current economic disparities. So let me enlighten this all with an example. I will not restrict myself to India because the opposition really hates our country, I believe. So let's move our eyes to the United States of America, where there is, say, a black person, I'm sorry if I'm politically incorrect, and say there's a white person. Both of them are, these two said individuals are they're economically disadvantaged in comparison to all other people. They don't have the resources to access school, access education, access healthcare. So what the opposition wants the government to do is that uplift the said black individual, uplift that individual just because he or she had been racially discriminated 100 years ago. What we say is that we recognize the fact that the blacks were oppressed in the United States and perhaps across the world. But what we also do recognize as the opposition is that the white person is economically deprived. He too or she too needs help. And this is what we mean to say why affirmative action does not work. We're completely ignoring the disparities of other people just because they weren't oppressed 100 years ago. So what affirmative action tries to do is bridge these social differences by making them much more evident in society. If suppose the government is extending a hand to only one section of the community, the people who are not receiving help by the people, they would definitely increase in a way that discrimination against those people because they are not, just 1 second ma'am, they're not receiving the help from the government, which in fact they should because they are deprived as well. Yes ma'am.
So you mentioned that the economically disadvantaged or the disadvantaged as a whole are receiving help from the government and the rest are not. So why don't you recognize that they had already been at an advantage earlier when the disparity still persisted?
You're not understanding the point. At no point is an entire committee, I'm so sorry, and at no point is an entire community, at a higher pedestal. There will be people who did not receive those incentives when they were 100 years ago. Not all Brahmins are CEOs of all multinational firms, right? So what opposition, the opposition has a very myopic view of society. We're not restricting ourselves to only said individuals. We're opening our eyes to the entire world at large and providing help to all those who need it, regardless of their race, caste, sex, or anything else. We're opening our eyes to all problems across the world. Let me also give you an example, I would request the House to put yourself in these shoes. Suppose you get into IIT Delhi by hours of hard work through the general quota, and there's another student who gets into the, say, SC/ST quota. So there is a segregation in that institution because the people who worked hard for it, the people who spent sleepless nights would in at least some layer believe that they're not being provided justice, and just because
The House believes that it is time to scrap affirmative action across the world. May I request the first speaker of the proposition